Hey there, gamers! Welcome to the very first episode of the KingFob Talks podcast. Today, we're going to be diving deep into the latest buzz in the gaming world and talking about David Vonderhaar leaving Treyarch and the upcoming Modern Warfare 3 Zombies experience. So, if you guys go on to enjoy today's podcast and you want to see more like it, make sure to drop a like and a sub to the channel. But with that out of the way, let's move on. So first today we have some bittersweet news to discuss, and that's the departure of a true gaming legend, David Vonderhaar. The face of many Treyarch's groundbreaking titles has announced his departure from the company, so today we're going to dive into the details and reflect on his incredible contributions to the gaming world. As you all know, David Vonderhaar has been an integral part of Treyarch for many years now and is known for his visionary game design and unrelenting passion for the industry. From his in development in the iconic Call of Duty series to his contributions in shaping the Battle Royale genre with Call of Duty Black Ops 4's Blackout, Vonderhaar's creativity has left an incredible mark on gaming. One of the things that has set David Vonderhaar apart is his willingness to take risks and push boundaries. His works on introducing the Pick 10 system, the specialist characters, and even the zombies mode demonstrated his dedication to keeping gameplay fresh and exciting for new players.
Now, Vonderhaar was also renowned for his close connection with the gaming community and his active presence on social media platforms and engagement with players, showcasing their genuine interest in their opinions and feedback. This two-way communication significantly contributed to the success and evolution of the games he worked on. Now, if you guys aren't, aware of all the games that David Vonderhaar actually worked on, I actually have a list here, and to be honest, holy shit, it goes pretty far back. He first started on Call of Duty 2, big red one. Damn, I don't even know. Title. Also, Call of Duty 3, Call of Duty World at War, Black Ops, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, and Black Ops Cold War. Holy shit, man. Man's in here. It's
If
been
I
since the
mean,
beginning.
yeah, if you ask me, that's literally like besides the Modern Warfare series, that's like all the good Call of Duties.
Yeah, all the Black Ops
Yeah,
series.
and that is why, like, we wanted to take the first segment our first episode of the podcast and talk about this legend because he truly has had such a big, like, what's the
Impact.
word? Yeah, thank you, big impact on the franchise. Alongside with the other three Titans, like Jason Blundell,
Blundell, Flame.
yeah, Flame, all those guys, they worked hand in hand together to create some of the best Call of Duties in the franchise. And with all three of them gone now, it really does beg the question, what is the future?
Yeah, I've
And
learned people concerned about the next, Treyarch game, because, oh, with these people gone, how are they gonna, take the game? And then, those
Mhm.
people have been the core people of that game, and with them gone, Blundell, Flame, and now Vonderhaar, how, is gonna be, how them leaving gonna change the game,
Yeah,
forever.
and it begs the question, why are they leaving? What is going
Hmm.
on inside of these companies that are causing these people to want to leave? Because we know that when Jason Blundell left, he specifically said that he still has love for the franchise, and that's why he wanted to start his own company. So it's not that these directors, or I'm not sure what all of them were, but I know Jason Blundell was like a director of Zombies. So it's not like they're losing interest in the franchise; they still have a love for it. So I don't know, just kind of interesting to me. Kind of begs the question, what's going on to where these guys that still have love for the game are kind of like forced to leave. Want to get away from Activision and stuff like that. Now, it is no secret that Activision has kind of been going downhill these last few years.
True.
So at the end of the day, it's just really sad to see. We all love Call of Duty. We all love zombies. And it is definitely not what it used to be. And it's discerning to see because everyone wants it to go back to the classic zombies, but with all these guys leaving, it just kind of feels like all that hope is gone. Like what odds? What are the chances that we get a classic feel? If everyone that we've known and loved for all these years are leaving, like if they're leaving and giving up on this franchise, what does that mean for the community?
I actually did see on Twitter from, I don't know, I forget what his name, but someone that also kind of like worked in the space Call of Duty that actually also just that, when Vonderhaar posted his thing he was leaving, also posted his saying that he was leaving. And he said that for the past 2 years, the environment over there in Call of Duty has just been, he said manufacturing line, my air quotes, and and
Hmm.
they have,
Hmm.
they have stressful deadlines and when they'll be working on
Yeah.
something, the like lead let's say lead people working on it would just be like, you know what, and switch stuff mid whim, and just be like, you're
Yeah.
doing this, now we're changing it, delete it, redo it, and do this.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, I mean that's something we've talked about, and one of the reasons why I'm very upset to hear that Treyarch is working on Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, which we'll get into Modern Warfare 3 stuff later on. But for many years now, Treyarch has been put in such a terrible
oh
position
yeah,
where they are forced to fix other studios' issues, problems with their own games. They have to step in and fix what's going on. And they're having to make zombies on top of that, and they have to make the ranked mode for multiplayer, all while they're trying to make their own game at the same time. So they're spread so thin that it's like impossible for them to do anything. And one thing I will say is I am happy to see that not a lot of people in the community are actually blaming Treyarch, and I think that's
yeah,
something that's amazing because from what I've seen, there's a lot of support actually behind it, which is like I said, just really nice to see. Because in a situation like this, everyone could just turn on Treyarch, but it seems like more people are actually more mad at like Sledgehammer or Infinity Ward more than Treyarch themselves, which I think is just really cool because it is not their fault. Like people look at Vanguard, they look at Cold War, which in my opinion was a good Call of Duty, but
yeah.
obviously
Oh yeah,
still
Cold
wasn't up
War.
to
Yeah,
the
Cold
yeah
War wasn't supposed to be their game, right? I'm pretty sure they got
yeah
pulled onto it last
um
minute, and they just kind of made it their game. But yeah, Cold War wasn't supposed to be their game, and it's crazy. They
um
just fucking took them and just like, you know what, here, we know you're working on something else, but now you're gonna work on this.
yeah, and it was like you were talking about with them swapping stuff or changing
Hmm.
stuff midway through. We've even seen that as recently as Modern Warfare 3. It has
Hmm.
been said that the Warzone map originally was supposed to be set somewhere in Mexico, and halfway through development, they completely decided to scrap that map and make it somewhere else in somewhere in the desert. We don't know the exact location at this time. And dude, that's just crazy to me. Like, imagine all the people that sit there, because a lot of these Warzone maps have so much detail that
Hmm.
have to go into these maps. So imagine being told, like, you're genuinely excited, right? You're working on a map, you put a lot of time, blood, sweat, and tears into this map. You make it look the best that you possibly can, and you get told, "Hey, actually, yeah, we're scrapping that. We're gonna do something different. Restart,
Oh
please."
my God, that would get me
Like
pissed.
facts. Like, it's just I could not imagine the work conditions that they have to go through. I'm sure it is terrible, and that's why I never really have anything bad to say for studios specifically. I usually always
Hmm.
blame Activision. I always say, yeah, Activision as
I mean,
that
at the
is
end of the
at the heart of
day,
it all.
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they're the big boss. So you kind of gotta
Yeah, it's
do
like
what
all
they
these
say.
studios
They're just
work
working under
under
them.
Activision, yeah. So I don't know. It's just really sad to see, and with another big name leaving, there's really no one left at these studios to, I would say, produce anything good.
Yeah.
But also, you never know. I mean,
This could
let's
be
be
the time
honest
for,
here.
small up people to get recognition.
Yes, exactly. That's a good way to put it. And that's kind of what I was going to touch on. Like, you never know. There could have been someone there, working under these directors. Because, hey, still, even when Jason Blundell was here, the last few games that were made, like, let's just say Black Ops 4, some people love
Hmm.
it, some people hate it. But still, that wasn't as good as Black Ops 3 or Black Ops 2, the games that came before. So even when some of these big names were there, the games still weren't what we were used to back in the day. So honestly, now that all of the big heads are out of the studios, maybe, just maybe, there's some people that used to work below them that are now moving up in the ranks
Hmm.
that finally have more of a say so in this, can finally shine, and we can see some of their ideas come to light, and maybe they're better. Who truly knows? So it's exciting, but it's also nerve wracking at the same time. But look, I look at it like this: how much worse can it get? after
True. After Vanguard,
after
bro, how true? Otherwise, gonna get, bro.
Yeah, after Vanguard, it's kind of like, all right, we've hit rock bottom.
Now it's gonna go up.
Um, it can't get much worse than that. So, I mean, everyone kind of has their expectations set low. So, let's just build up from here and let's see how it goes.
I mean, if you
So,
don't set
yeah,
any expectations, you can't really get disappointed because it's like, well, I was expecting it, so.
one thing that I hope at some point we get some news on is Jason Blundell. because
Oh,
obviously he
true.
left Treyarch a few years ago at this point, and he created his own studio, which he has now left.
And we haven't heard
So
anything
we
from him.
really, yeah, we really haven't heard anything from him. A lot of people were saying he's going to come back to Treyarch. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's technically possible, but I highly doubt it. But I think it would just be dope. I mean, Jason Blundell is such a cool guy, and I think it would be kind of nice just to get an update on where he's at, maybe any new projects he's working on or anything like that. I just kind of get a little life update about Jason Blundell. That would be really cool to
Mm,
see. But yeah, I don't know. It's it's concerning, but like I said before, maybe there's someone that was below these guys that have some good ideas that can finally come to light, and we can see those actually implemented into these games. So, guys, please don't hate on the studios, because at the end of the day, it's all Activision's fault with what's going on. Okay, don't hate these guys too much. They don't have the final say-sos in any of this kind of stuff. You know, it's just their job. They have to do what they're told. So. I see a lot of people pushing hate towards, the actual employees, and I mean, it's not their fault at the end of the day.
yeah. And to be honest, with the new Treyarch game coming, fuck hell, I mean, this is the time, to show people what you can do. Those small people that move up. This is the time. Show the world what you can do.
Yeah, that's something that I'm also interested in with their new game coming up. I believe it was Kevin Drew, I
Yeah, that's what
believe
I think
was
of it.
his
Yeah,
name.
Kevin something. Yeah,
Um, yeah,
he's also
he
working on
did.
MW3 Zombies.
Yep, he did a lot of stuff with Cold War, which is really nice to know because again, I think that was a great step and a good direction for Call of Duty's future. And yeah, so with him working on Modern Warfare 3, because I know a lot of the guys that actually went to this convention to play
Hmm.
Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer early and got to see zombies info and stuff, a lot of them said that Kevin is the one that actually showed them all of this stuff. So obviously he's the head of Modern Warfare 3, and I'm assuming obviously the Treyarch's next main game. So that's awesome to see. And with Modern Warfare 3, it looks like they are adapting a lot of the Cold War stuff and bringing it into the Modern Warfare 3 engine, and they're going to be combining it with DMZ, which I think is a great idea on paper. So I'm really hoping with Treyarch's next game, they continue that. I truly
Yeah.
hope they take everything from Cold War and build upon that. I really hope it's not
Don't
what
don't
we've
take one
had.
step back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
what they
take a
usually
step
do.
back. Don't forget everything about Cold War and try some new bullshit that we all know is not going to end up working, that we're all going to hate. Just do something good for once. But I don't know. Honestly, a lot of people are looking at Sledgehammer and with where they are and what they've done in the last few years, with Treyarch having to come in and fix their games. A lot of people are worried about Modern Warfare 3. And again, it's hard to tell on paper. I mean, it all looks good, but at the end of the day, you're just gonna have to kind of wait and see. One thing I would love is better communication. Going back to Vonderhaar, he was a great
Hmm.
person when it came to communicating with the community. I mean, look at Jason Blundell. He used to go to people and he would record videos and go on streams and talk to people. Like that was what you
Oh
remember,
yeah,
like
the
watching.
Milo videos, like when he like, answers
Yeah,
questions and
with
shit.
JC
Yeah,
Backfire,
that
like all
like
those
the
videos were
real.
so cool. We need more people like that. And Vonderhaar was always really good at that kind of stuff too, like actually talking to the community, listening to the community. So I'm really hoping with Kevin now being the head and whoever else is going to be stepping up, hopefully we get more of that from Treyarch. That's one thing I think Treyarch's always been pretty good at is actually listening and talking to the community. So. I hope that continues going forward with Kevin and whoever else is going to be the new heads.
All right, so that's all we really have to say here on, David Vonderhaar, Lehman Treyarch, and everything. And if you guys do want to, you kind of like stay up to date to, everything in the gaming world or community, make sure you guys drop a like and drop a sub, and also share this podcast to your friends. Maybe you got any gaming friends that like to hear, news in the gaming community. Go ahead and share this with them. All right, so you guys might be thinking, Modern Warfare has zombies, huh? That's a thing, but yes. They are finally bringing zombies here into Modern Warfare 3. And to be honest,
Finally, my dream.
dream, a good Call of Duty game, Modern Warfare, give us some zombies. Obviously, over the years, it has kind of involved with, better single player campaigns and, more intense multiplayer battles. And, with this game, they are finally bringing the introduction of zombies into Modern Warfare. And to be honest, that's just gonna bump it up like a whole fucking new level. It's
Yeah.
gonna make the game even like better.
I've said this for like many years now. Like, as someone who doesn't play like custom zombies or anything, like I
Hmm.
always dreamed of having zombies in the Modern Warfare universe. Because like with all the Call of Duty Black Ops games, like all of them has pretty much been set like in the past
Hmm.
or the future. But like we've never had a modern Black Ops game really. Um, and I'm a modern guy. I love the modern theme, and I always thought it would be really cool to have like an M4 and and like a modern day AK or like an
Yeah.
MP5 modern day or something like that inside of zombies. But like the Black Ops series has never really had those weapons. So yeah, that's always been like my biggest dream, man, is zombies in the modern warfare universe, and it's finally happening. Unfortunately, it's not going to be round based, which kind of sucks, but
Thanks.
at least we're getting it. It leaves room for something in the future.
I just hope, like, 'cause, it's like they said 3 acts, and it's just gonna be like, open world DMZ / Outbreak mix, and I just hope if we're not gonna get any more zombies content for the rest of the game, and this is it, these acts or whatever better be long as hell, and maybe like hopefully add some replayability to it, because like 3 acts and
Yeah,
if they're short as fuck, no replayability, but the zombies community is gonna be like back to where it is now, like pretty much dead in like the first like week or so after everyone completes everything. It's just gonna be in the exact same spot. So hopefully, if they don't, maybe add some more zombie stuff afterwards. They just have a lot of shit they're gonna be adding for zombies like in the beginning, like long ass acts, like hell, fucking make them an hour long each, bro. I mean, you'll be in the game for an hour, so make the damn Easter egg they're gonna be doing like an hour long, just so fucking
yeah,
that shit holds everyone over.
yeah. I agree with what you're saying 100%. And with it being rumored that they're going to be kind of stepping away from DMZ with the release of Modern Warfare 3, I mean, obviously it's because of zombies and it's basically like DMZ 2.0. So, yeah, I mean, it begs a question. How much like updates is zombies going to receive? Because I mean, I gotta admit, when it came to DMZ, like
Hmm.
we got major updates every season reloaded. We got a bunch of new content. They were
Missions.
constantly refreshing new missions. So if they do to zombies what they did with DMZ, I think it will be really cool. Unfortunately, when it comes to the cinematics and the story, I don't think like maybe every season we get like maybe three new acts or one new
Yeah.
act or something, but I don't really see them updating that very often. If I had to guess, I think they'll do what they did with DMZ, is they'll update obviously some of the gameplay stuff, add in some new stuff. Maybe change the wall buys around. Like every season, there's new wall buys,
Yeah.
in different locations or something like that. Maybe um, and maybe missions or something like that that you got to do, refresh those and stuff. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm afraid that they're not really gonna update the story. And like you said, it's gonna be done in like a week because each game lasts an hour, and there's 3 acts in total. Which at the end of every game, you enter that act. So I mean,
Yeah.
in 3 games, are you gonna be done?
Yeah, as I was saying,
And
like my thing was like, oh, they say it takes you 20 minutes, to complete an act, to start to, boss battle, like 20 minutes per one. That's like an hour. You're done with everything, and it's like, well, shit. Now what?
yeah.
You're done with those zombies. Let me just go in and just fuck around, just for
Mhm.
fun, And if they don't have anything,
Mhm.
like missions or any other side stuff in there, you know,
Yep.
people are gonna complete it and just jump off.
Yep. I have a feeling it's going to be like the DMZ situation where they're heavily going to rely on the
Replayability.
replayability coming from the missions and the stuff that you have to do to unlock. Because we already know that it's the exfilling system is going to work just like DMZ. So if you
Hmm.
exfil, you keep your perks, your packed weapons, whatever you had, you can take into the next game, which is really interesting. I don't know how that's going to
Yo,
work.
with
We'll
one
have
pack
to
a punch,
see.
like bro, pack a punch with one weapon, bro.
Yeah, and we know that you can like literally load in with a ray gun, so that's going to be
Hmm.
insane. But yeah, I don't know. I think they are highly relying on that kind of system that has kept DMZ alive for so long, just the missions, and I have a feeling they're going to refresh those after so long, so there'll be like faction missions to do.
Well,
So,
hopefully, Requiem
yeah,
faction missions.
yeah. Oh yeah, I definitely want to touch on that when we get into the storyline. Well, I
Yeah,
guess
because
we
I
can talk
talked
about it
about it
now.
in my
Yeah,
latest
in your
video.
video, you actually made some really good points. By the way, guys, yeah, Fob has been making some great videos on his channel. Go check him out. Link down in the description. He made some really good points. I watched his video earlier about the story. And I wanted to touch on, you were talking about how this is called it's Operation, what was it called? Do you remember?
Operation
Operation
Deadbolt.
Operation
That's the
Deadbolt. That
operation.
is the name of the mission. Which is an interesting name, by the way. But it is interesting. Uh, who is this team? Is it Requiem? Because like you mentioned in your video, Requiem kind of got shut down at the end of Cold War. We saw pretty much everyone involved with Requiem get arrested, and stuff like that. So really interested to see. We know that the Modern Warfare 3 Zombies story is going to take place between Modern Warfare 2019 and Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see, is this going to tie directly into the end of Cold War, or because obviously they're on two different timelines.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how they're going to connect those timelines and how it's going to make sense. And obviously, I'm assuming that Treyarch's next main game will pick up directly after Cold War.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Um,
That's gonna pick up Cold War. I think it's just gonna be like some side stuff that obviously connects to
yeah.
the story, but it's not gonna be anything big.
hmm
That connects to the story.
I was wondering if the Black Ops series is going to continue to play off of what happened in Cold War, and then the Modern Warfare series is going to basically
Create
have
something
the
new.
same story, but it's just going to be like in the future, and maybe at some point down the line they finally link up, or something like that. Maybe like the Black Ops franchise finally goes into the modern era, and that's where they kind of link up. Maybe something like that. I'm not sure how they're gonna do that. Maybe they don't even know how they're gonna do that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, everyone wants story. Let's be honest here. Black Ops 3 is one of the best games out there because of the story. Like people love a story that they can follow and get behind. It just makes the game more interesting and impactful when stuff happens in the story, when a character dies or something happens to a character. It's just better overall. It's like a TV show. It's like you're watching a show. You get involved, and it means more to you, and people connect to that, and it makes people more interested in wanting to play the next game to figure out what happens in that show.
Yeah, to be honest,
So
they could not even care about the time because it wasn't like the original story, bro. They didn't give a shit. It was like all connected. It's like, oh well, this game's
yeah,
set in this
like
one, this and
time
that one. How does that make
traveling and
sense? Whatever. So they could
universes and
just
shit.
they could
Yeah,
be honest. They could be like, this takes place. Okay, they'll say like between whatever Modern Warfare games, but they say this is like a year after Cold War, whatever. They could just say screw it, not really pay
yeah.
attention and care about what the games is actually set in, and just kind of be tell their story like different, kind of
Yeah.
like in obviously in that universe, but it's not gonna be like connected to like whatever the time
Yeah.
of the game is actually
I've
in.
I've seen people bring up that point as well because if you look back at like Warzone
Hmm.
1, because a lot of people were talking about bringing this up about Verdansk coming back to Warzone, and a lot of people were like, "Well, when we last left Warzone in current time, it was nuked, right?" So a
Hmm.
lot of people were like, "Well, are they going to give us like a nuked version of Verdansk?" But a lot of people were like, "Well, they could just give us an unnuked version." Because obviously in Warzone 1, we saw them bring back Verdansk 84, I believe it was called,
Yeah.
so that was like the 1984 version of Verdansk. So they have definitely done that in the past, where even in a modern game, they have gone back in time, time travel, and given us an older map. So it is possible that we could see Verdansk, the original Verdansk that we all know and love, an earlier version. But they could also just adapt that into zombies and be like, okay, hey, this is Modern Warfare 2 set in current time, but the zombies specifically is going to be set in
Yeah.
1980 or whatever the time
Hmm.
is. So yeah, I agree with that. They could totally do that. But I don't know, with them saying specifically that zombies take place before 19
Yeah, yeah.
in 2022. So I don't know. Like I said, maybe they don't even know where they're going with the story at this point in time. But point blank, I really hope they focus a little bit more on the story in this. I know we're not going to be having
Hmm.
main Easter eggs, but from what it sounds like, they're pushing that there will be story, there will be cinematics to make it more impactful. So that's what they kept saying. So it looks like they have tried to focus more on the story, but it will suck because there won't be four main characters. At
Ah, you
least
brought up
that,
about my yeah.
yeah, because
I think
obviously
for
it would be
this game,
weird.
yeah, this game it doesn't really matter because you know how it's gonna be.
Yeah,
But
because with
for
the operators and stuff. Now
yeah,
here's what I was saying: they could do it if in the cutscenes there are four operators that you don't get to play as. You don't play as them. Maybe in the next actual Call of Duty game you play, or sorry, Black Ops game you play as them. But in the cutscenes and in this story for this, they could show up and they're there and they are part of the story and they are the main four
yeah.
characters. But you just don't play as them, you
Oh, so it's
know.
like set the little setup.
Um, yeah, we'll have to see how that kind of works. Maybe that's how they do it, and then we get introduced to these four main characters, and we kind of get an idea of what it's going to be like. In the next Black Ops game, we actually play as them, and the
Hmm.
story like fully develops.
Yeah, so that's what I said in my video. Like, fucking having four main characters kind of it makes the story even better because you know actually kind of you can out over time you can connect with the characters. Like obviously like the old games you had premise and everything, and like Black Ops 3 they had their own individual map that catered to them, and you kind of like got more
Yeah.
of that character's backstory, and you kind of got felt everything that they were feeling. So that's was like hopefully in the next game they actually have four main characters, so we can like bring that back. You know, you can kind
hmm
of like feel
Bring
more of their
that feeling
story.
and that
Yeah.
connection back. Because that, I mean, that just adds so much more into the game that it doesn't matter how good the gameplay is or anything. If it doesn't have a sense of story that people can connect to,
Hmm.
it just simply won't do as good. That's just a simple fact. But outside of the story, talking about gameplay, that's one thing I'm really excited for is with Call of Duty going into the Modern Warfare engine and in that universe. I'm really excited to see these mechanics. I've said it before, Modern Warfare 2, love it or hate it, I think the base for that game is really good. And with Modern Warfare 3 going to be, on paper at least, a lot better with them actually removing all those movement restrictions and us getting slide canceling
Slide
back
cancel finally.
with
Ammo
the
reload
reload
reload canceling.
canceling.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's so fucking good.
So them having that on the MW3 engine plus, with the Cold War mechanics coming in, they're finally doing what I've always wanted, combining the best of two games to make the ultimate experience. And again, it just sucks so much because imagine round based with all of these
Oh
mechanics. Oh my
yeah.
god, bro. It's
Just
beating
take
BO3.
that. Just save that. Hey, take all that. Start a new file saying save for next game. When next game comes out, just copy that shit. Just put it in there. Have that shit already
Bro,
saved.
if that is not what Black Ops Gulf War, I think people said it was going to be
Go
called.
fool.
If that's not what it is, bro, I don't want it.
If you're not getting those mechanics, bro, pass on next year. I want the next year's Call of Duty already.
Sledgehammer needs to take over Treyarch's game. How about that? Let's do the Uno reverse card.
Oh my, the funny it pops up. Treyarch weren't able to finish their game in time, so they got in to help Sledgehammer. They were doing
Yeah,
zombies.
but it's gonna be interesting. Like, I mean, again, I've said since day one, like with Outbreak and when we played DMZ, it was like, dude, imagine if zombies was like this. You know,
Hmm.
imagine if this was what Outbreak could have been. And they're finally doing it, which I think is cool. So I don't know. I've seen a lot of mixed emotions about this, a lot of mixed feelings, and at the end of the day, my personal opinion, I don't think it's going to be great. Just straight up, I
Probably be
do
mid.
not think it's going to be great. I think it will be fun, and I think it will be good, but at the end of the day, It's not, from what we know, gonna have four main characters. It's
Round
not gonna have
base.
the story that we're used to. Yeah, it's not gonna have round based. So at the end of the day, the baseline is it's not gonna be great. Okay, it's not gonna be what we want, but just like with Cold War, just like with Modern Warfare 2, and now the Modern Warfare 3 engine, I think this game sets up for the next games to be great. They have set down, finally, the foundation of COD for the last few years has been atrocious, but they have finally set down a foundation to actually make a good gaming. This is the first time in God 5-6 years, well, since Black Ops 3. I'll just put it that way. Since I've been like, okay, hold up,
This is gonna be
they've
bad.
actually done. Yeah, they could actually do something great here. Like we're getting back into the territory of the Black Ops 3 days, Black Ops 2, etc., etc. Like they're bringing back all the classic stuff, but modernized it. They're taking what they did in Cold War, which I think was amazing, and then bringing that to the future. And I don't know. We'll have to see. The next Treyarch game could be too early to be able to adapt all of these features, so we might have
Hmm.
to see it in their next game, which would be unfortunate. But I truly feel like they have set a foundation for a great future for Call of Duty. Uh, we'll have to see with Microsoft being introduced, and we'll have to see how it goes. But I think the base foundation has been laid for some great games in the future, and I really hope they don't fuck it up.
And also another mechanic or yeah, gameplay mechanic that I'm excited to see how it works is I know I said this in my video and I said it I don't know if I on the video where we went over everything or I kind of said afterward is a storm in the and you know the zombies because obviously it's gonna be an Ethereum storm and I'm praying this is what it's going to be like is that on the other side of the storm is going to be like the
The
map
Dark
but
Ether.
dark etherfied, you know, it's going to be
Yeah.
lit up, particles in the air and shit, creatures fucking roaming out in the distance, and then you know obviously it comes in, consumes area and makes everything on the other side like that, and I feel like that would
Mhm.
just make everything, you know, better in there.
Now, do you think that it's going to be an actual storm, as in you're going to take damage and it will block off that area of the map, or do you think that you will still be able to explore that area, but it's just like in the dark ether now? Like, do you think
Um,
it's like you're deployed into that area, you've got your missions, you try to do your missions before the dark ether takes over that area and everything's
I
ruined? Do
could
you
see it
think
like
that's going to be the
I could see
plan?
it like that. Yeah, like oh, you have an hour. Like the
Hmm.
storm's not gonna move, but you have an say an hour to do everything. In like the last 10 minutes or whatever, the storm's actually gonna then start moving, consuming
Yeah,
there. I could see that. Also, I
because
could
we
also see it
know.
being a other thing where you know it goes in, but like you know you can go on the other side. You take damage though, but it's like all dark etherfied. So they could probably it could
Yeah,
do go either way. But I think it would be cool if you know, after obviously like 5 minutes left, then it starts shrinking and you can't even go on the other side. You'll just like insta die or something.
yeah. Um, because like I was gonna say, we know that the kind of based the story is that we were sent in. It's the Operation Deadbolt or whatever it
Hmm.
was. We're basically sent in to stop these operators from mining these crystals, the Ethereum, and making weapons out of them. So that's kind of like I guess the base of what
Hmm.
our objective is with this operation. So yeah, I mean it makes sense. It's kind of like, hey, we're sending you into this area. You have an hour to try to stop these guys from making these weapons, but and you know you have a limited amount of time before the dark ether consumes this area, and it's lost forever. And maybe that's like the way that they go. So I
Well,
think it would be really cool.
another thing I could see is there's three acts. Okay, so what if the
Yeah.
storm doesn't actually move? Like, and let's say you go to Act One, it doesn't actually move. But when
Oh,
you
until
finish
like the
Act
final
One, and
act.
then when you go no, okay, you go into Act One and say, you know, it's just like what it would regularly be. And then you finish Act One, you go into Act Two, you'll be obviously deployed in the same map, but it just shrinks, you know, as it shrinks the size. So it's not like it shrinks mid-game, but it shrinks like every act. And like the end of that, and then we get to Act Three. When you get to Act
Oh.
Three, there's only like a little part section left, that's
Oh,
still
cool.
left of the map.
Well, you know, they did say that On the outer rings of the map, it would be, I forgot what the exact wording they used,
AIs.
but it would be like not, it would be like basically like no zombies,
Mm-hmm.
terrible loot, very easy mode, and then around like the
The mid
middle
will be hard.
ring, it would be yeah, a lot more zombies, more bosses, harder, and in the very center is the most difficult area. So they could actually integrate that with what you're saying in Act 1. You're on the outer ring, and then Act 2 it gets smaller. Now you're in that middle ring, and if you make it all the way to Act 3, now you're in that middle part where it's like nothing but boss
Yeah.
zombies, huge hordes. It's going to be really hard to try to complete that final, I'll call it Easter egg step to finish Act 3. I actually really like that. I think that's a great idea. I think that's a great way to introduce the storm, and also a great way for them to kind of push that whole I'll call it the ring system with depending on where you are, how far you in towards the middle, the harder it gets. I think that'd be a great way for them to do that. Because I don't know. I think it would be well, I don't know though, cause I don't know. I don't think that's how they'll do it, but it's a cool concept
Yeah, I don't
though.
think
I
that's probably
actually
what it's
think,
gonna be, but I think that yeah, like it would be a cool
yeah,
concept for
I think
them.
something like that would work though. Because I don't know, it's gonna be kind of weird though, because with Outbreak, even sometimes like that map still felt huge.
Oh yeah, and it's gonna be a big
Um,
ass Warzone map. It's gonna be
yeah,
bigger than.
this is gonna
Yeah,
be
yeah.
huge, so it's gonna feel very empty and sometimes so. I don't know, because even with like DMZ sometimes, or when you play Warzone on the big map, like it can feel very empty sometimes, and there's just not a lot of people. I mean, you can sit there forever and get no action.
Hmm.
So yeah, implementing that will kind of force you into these higher zones. So honestly, great idea. I dig that. I've been seeing a lot of people talking about the bosses, and immediately after they saw the mimic, everyone was like, "Oh,
Hmm.
we're not gonna get any new bosses. They're only gonna bring back the ones from Cold War. This is trash. They're not putting any dedication into this." And I'm like, "Bro, we've only seen one boss. How are you
One
making these
image.
assumptions?"
I think the
But
megaton. Yeah, the megatons are actually come back. I remember
yeah,
saw somewhere that
I
those are
mean,
coming back.
again, obviously the other bosses are going to be coming back. This is set in the Cold War Dark Ether storyline.
Hmm.
Those bosses are going to be here. It's not like they would just disappear. They're obviously going to be coming back. But they did say that they're going to have some of the biggest bosses ever in zombies. So I have no doubt that there will be a lot of new bosses introduced. Some people even brought up the fact that they could have more smart zombies, and you could even
Hmm.
see something kind of like how DMZ there is around the map, how you have your different commanders. They could do something like
Oh.
that. Maybe that's where the big bosses are. So let's say there's a zombie that has, a huge freaking minigun. There's a zombie in a helicopter. I don't know. It's a little
What are
crazy,
those god
but if
zombies?
they,
Remember from Outbreak? Those big ass motherfuckers, those tall ones. Make them like more
the
dangerous and
Orda,
something. Yeah, the Orda.
yeah,
Bring the Orda back.
yeah. I mean, they could do now that would be cool because obviously in Outbreak it was a little bit of a smaller map, so they can have a
Yeah.
bunch of those. But in a map like the DMZ map, imagine having like a bunch of different huge boss zombies all around the map. That would be really cool, and I hope that's what we end up seeing. I think it's going to be interesting to see though because they did say that for certain things, they didn't specifically mention bosses, but they said on certain parts they will teleport you to an arena area to kill zombies to add more of a cinematic feel.
Oh yeah, I think that's like
So
the like kind of like the boss fight. So like you'll do the main Easter egg, whatever in the main map, and then say when you get into that X boss fight, it's gonna teleport you on your own to make it more
yeah,
cinematic. So you're not like you're in a regular DMZ map with a bunch of other players that can just run up in your boss fight. So I think that's like and that when you get to the act like finish the act and you're about to do that boss fight for the act, it's gonna teleport you somewhere else on your own. So you
yeah, I
feel
don't
more
know.
cinematic for it.
I'm just really intrigued to see how like the end of a zombies game is gonna be
Hmm.
because we know it's gonna last an hour. The storm's gonna be closing in. There's gonna be like the final exfils or whatever. But they did say like at the end of the match, that's when the like boss would come in and you would do the act mission. So I don't know. Like we talked about this before in our information video, but I feel like wouldn't it be cooler if everyone worked as a team to take down the final boss? Like, wouldn't that be more cool? I feel like that would be more
Um,
rewarding and like more awesome.
if there was like a final boss, like say you're not doing the egg Easter egg for that act, but like at the like there's like you're just playing and then so like at the final expo, then whoever's left faces the final boss. Yeah, I can see that, but I don't see like everyone teaming together for the Easter egg act boss because it's like, well, how do you know these people are doing it? Because you have to like coordinate with everyone. It's like, okay, well, to be able to do that, everyone in the game or that we want there has to do the setups to get in there.
Well, okay, well that's not really what I mean. I mean like them. Okay, I understand. Okay, I feel like we're getting way out. Okay, that's not exactly what I meant. I meant like. Okay, I don't really know how to explain what I meant, but I understand what you're saying. And that is a very valid point. But I was just more of saying like, I think them teleporting like us, so like me and you, obviously
Mhm.
would basically just be me and you every time. If the whole time we're with everyone, I think would be really annoying if obviously it's going to be a huge map, and if assuming going off of what I was saying, there's going to be multiple commanders or whatever. I think it's really annoying if like the entire time we're with everyone, and then as soon as we get to a commander area, it's like I don't know, maybe it'll come up with a prompt. You're entering a commander area. Hold square to teleport to boss arena,
Oh
right?
yeah, that.
And
Oh
then
yeah, that
and then
was.
we teleport to an arena, and then it's just us
You just
two. We
take
kill
down the
the
commander.
boss, and then it teleports us back.
Oh, so you have to like kill
I
each command like as the commander, big zombie. Yeah, okay, I get you with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be cooler if you could like text in the game chat, "Yo, anyone want to team up and take down this commander over here?" I think it'd be really cool if like Order how he was just
Uh huh.
on the map. If it would be cool if you could coordinate with other people and work as a team to take down these commanders or stuff like that. I think that would be really cool. I think splitting up the player base and teleporting them in and out, it's just like I think it kind of defeats the purpose of having 24 players inside of zombies. It's like, why add all these players into the game if we're never really going to be interacting with them?
Yeah, I
So,
think
I
the
don't know.
teleporting thing is only gonna be for like I said, the Easter egg boss fight. But yeah, I feel like if they add commanders, a big zombies boss like that, they shouldn't add tweak teleport. It's just like them roaming around the area. You can go there with everyone in the fucking game and take them out. But yeah, like I agree with you on that.
Yeah, but with the Easter egg, I understand what you're saying, but maybe you could do something like if someone is, let's say they've done, the steps or
Hmm.
whatever, like they can still help you in the boss fight, like if you invite them or whatever. I think something like that could be cool. But yeah, I don't know. I'm really hoping with them being able to have 6 players on one squad and 24 players in a game. I really hope that there are stuff that you can do together, and you guys can come up with strategies, and you guys can
Hmm.
do some teamwork stuff and do so because we've never had this before in zombies, and I think it could be something that's really awesome. And being able to work as a community and do stuff together. I think it's just such an awesome and unique idea that we've never seen before, and I think it's something that I hope we see in the future, honestly, in more of these outbreak modes or whatever going further. So I just really hope it's not something that's just kind of like a useless feature. It's like, oh hey, by the way, 24 players can be in here, but you're never really going to be interacting with them. Because we're going to be teleporting you constantly to different boss fights and to kill zombies in these different sections. So I mean, you might see your occasional player, but yeah, pretty much there's no reason for you to be in game with other players. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I really hope that it's not just a useless thing that there's for no reason. Hopefully, there's actually stuff to do with other players. And we'll have to see how the looting works. Like let's say you come across players that have died, will you be able to loot them, take their stuff? And stuff like that. So is it going to be like DMZ
Hmm.
where because we know you can what's the word assimilate with other people, invite them to your squad. You can have up to 6 just like DMZ. So like can someone plea and then you go to them and you just pick them up whenever. I think it would be cool to see maybe again this is a little bit of a reach, but imagine if you get bitten by a zombie, you die.
Oh, you gotta
Let's
collect
say
the
there's
current.
yeah, there's a timer and if you don't leave the game and no one picks you up, you turn into a zombie
Oh.
and you can then take down other squads. I think that would be really cool. Um, And I think that could be really dope. I mean, we've seen that before in Warzone. You used to be able to turn into zombies after dying, and obviously that's been in Treyarch games before. They've done stuff like that where you could turn into zombies. So I don't know. I think that could be a really cool idea where you actually turn into a zombie. And maybe just like we've seen in Warzone before in the past on some of these Halloween events, if you collected stuff, you could turn back into human. So imagine, maybe it's like a zombie gulag in a way. You come back as a zombie, but if you do something or collect enough stuff, you could like heal yourself with a cure and come back. You know, like an extra life. I think that could be kind of cool. Again, it's stretching a little bit, but I hope that's honestly something that we see in one of the later seasons. Maybe is something a new feature they introduced. I think that could be like such a dope idea, and would make it so much fun. I mean, that has so much potential right there. Just that small little feature being able to come back as a zombie.
I wanted to go back on how you said about everyone in the game working together, teamwork and everything like that. Hopefully, something they do, because kind of like working that is like community events, like those challenges
Yeah.
like how, like challenges you go into a game, do this, like for the event for the Modern 3, collect whatever canisters, get this, like you get challenges say in a DMZ game, have like you and two other groups take down one boss or something like that. You need kind of like
Yeah.
get everyone to work together, and you guys can get like challenge rewards and stuff just for doing that.
Uh, do you mean like like okay? So again, assuming they're adapting the mission stuff, because we've kind of seen stuff like that before in DMZ missions. Are you referring to like missions where it's like to complete this mission, team up with another team and take down this commander, or do you mean more like community events
I,
where
wa-
it's like an
I was
actual
talking
event?
about like community events, but they could also like do it in the mission way as well. So
Okay.
mission, you and another team take down and kill the order, and then you get whatever.
Mhm. Well, they've done like I said, they've done stuff like that in DMZ before, but I honestly really hope we don't get those because I mean, as we both know, they're really annoying in DMZ. The zombies community obviously is a little bit more of a friendly
Hmm.
community than the DMZ community, but still, like it could be really hard.
To get the
You could
people
take
to
many
work with you.
games, yeah, to get
Yeah, I get you
everyone to
there.
work with you. So I don't know. That could be. I mean,
It'd
it's a
go
great
bad.
idea. Yeah, but it could not work like 100% of the time. It could get really annoying and really frustrating very quickly. But yeah, I 1000% agree. They need to do some community stuff. Like I said, this is the first time ever where we've had multiple players in a zombies game before. So if they don't capitalize on that and give us some kind of community event where people need to work together,
Hmm.
need to come together and do something, that's gonna be really frustrating because like it would be such a good opportunity for them to do something like that. So hopefully they don't just be like, yeah, like I said before, just have people in there for no reason. They're like, yeah, you can play with other people, but I mean that's pretty much the extent of that. We're not gonna do anything with that. So
What they also could do is
hopefully,
like a zombies like live event. It's like imagine like every I don't know like season or something. There's like a crazy ass big boss that kind of like takes over the whole DMZ zombies map, and it's like you get like a big ass reward for killing that boss, and it kind of makes
oh
it kind of makes everyone want to do that. So like it's not gonna like force you guys to team up, but like obviously everyone's gonna want to kill that big boss for that season or let's say month or whatever. So obviously you go in there to kill it. Everyone's obviously going to be working together, to kill it. So obviously they don't have to do like certain missions that where you like force you to team up, but stuff like that where it's like okay, well we know
yeah.
that they're going to team up.
Well, see, that's kind of what I was referring to about like the Easter egg. Like, imagine like you do your Easter egg steps and you can work with other people that's done the Easter eggs to
Mhm.
take down that final boss. That's what I'm saying. I feel like that would be so much more awesome, so much more rewarding to work as a community to take down these big bosses to unlock the next part of the story or whatever it may be to get these rewards. Like I don't know. In my mind, I feel like I would rather team up with a bunch of people and take down this huge final boss, then just be like me and you take down this final boss and be like, oh well, that was the boss fight. Oh well,
Yeah, they could have it like let's say you complete everything, you go to a button and it presses, and let's say there's someone in that circle, like in the say the radiation teleporting signal that hasn't done the steps, will pop up saying can't proceed because you haven't done steps, and it won't teleport like say me and you, even though we've done it, because there's someone in the circle that hasn't done it. So everyone that has done the steps to get to the boss fight, everyone that's in the circle will get teleported, with whoever activates the button. Kind of it teleports everyone in that kind of like teleporting circle area.
Yeah, I mean something like that could work too. I want to touch, kind of go back a little bit to like the mechanics and the weapon system. Like, what are your thoughts about being able to extract with a ray gun or a pack-a-punch weapon and all your perks and being able to load into the next game? Do you feel like that's going to ruin it, make it too easy, ruin like the
Um,
replayability, or do you think that like a tweaked version of the DMZ exfil system could actually be like kind of a unique and cool feature for the future?
I think it would be cool, but like just like stockpiling a bunch of pack-a-punch weapons and shit is just gonna be like okay. It's not
Oh
after a while
yeah,
it's not gonna be fun
I'm
whatever.
really hope. I didn't even think about that. Actually, good point. I really hope they don't have like a contraband system.
Hmm.
That's too far. Like, imagine you could just like have a contraband of fucking, because obviously there's a lot of like duplication glitches out there for contraband. I'm
Yeah.
at, like, if you have a bunch of duplicated pack a bunch of ray guns, like, could you just imagine?
Yeah. So if they don't have
Uh,
like if they have like something like that, don't like don't have something like that, and maybe like okay, you just leave with whatever weapons you have, and you can't like put them in a in a safe or whatever. You'll automatically load them those weapons. I think that'll be okay. So you kind of like won't have to get us set up for next time. But obviously it'll be like, well shit, why would I have to go back in then? Because my character's already set up and everything. But if they don't have like something that's like OP where you can just stockpile a bunch of pack a punch weapons and shit, I think it'll be okay. I guess it won't be that bad.
my question too is, how are they going to do the looting system? Is it going to be like DMZ
Hmm.
where there's boxes around and like medicine cabinets, stuff like that? Is that going to be a thing? Or because we know they said there's going to be mystery boxes, wall buys, pack a punch machines, etc., etc. So is there going to be just wall weapons and that's how you get them? Or if there will be like loot where you can get stuff? Because we've seen that in Outbreak. Like there was loot
Hmm.
boxes where you can get stuff out of. So I wonder if that's going to be kind of where you get everything, and it's going to be the same thing DMZ. It's basically just a DMZ simulator, I feel like. So it's going to be like, okay, these are the hot points. You're going to need keys for this. So,
They're
I
gonna
mean,
have it
I
in the
really,
chest boxes or just like the low tier weapons. Like the
yeah,
low shit, and then if you want the big stuff, like so like like oh there's usually like MP5s on the wall or something. You gotta go to wall buys or hit the mystery box to get like those bigger weapons.
yeah. Do you think that they're going to do that key system? Like, there's going to be keys, or do you feel like instead of doing the key system, because we know there's going to be like your low, mid, and high
Hmm.
loot areas, do you feel like it's just going to be you got to go to these high loot areas, take down bosses, loot that area to get better weapons? And I will say before you answer, I will say I hope that's what they end up doing because it will feel a hell of a lot of more rewarding if you
Oh
actually
yeah.
have to do stuff to get better weapons. Because instead of just being able to loot to get better weapons, like you actually have to like take down a boss in that area to get a better weapon. I think it actually adds progression to the game, and it will feel more rewarding when you actually unlock something.
Yeah, so that's like you go like mid map, kind of like where the mid enemies are, where like the hard, but no, not
Hmm.
that hard, and you go to a town, whatever, and there's like just like a bunch of zombies, like a boss guarding that town. It's like, well, the loot inside of that town or whatever isn't gonna be good. Like I say, if you would go to a chest and loot it, you get shit. But if you kill like the big boss zombie in that area, it'll turn like every chest in that town like probably like the best rarity or whatever, and then you get good shit out of it.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's going to be really cool about that feature as well is it's going to stop people that like just started. Let's say it's day one, whatever. Like if you try to go immediately to these high zones or mid zones, like you're gonna die. Like you're not gonna
Hmm.
be able to survive there. So I think it's really cool too because it's going to stop people from just being able to progress immediately to the end and do these Easter eggs or whatever. That's why I was saying before, like it's going to add actual progression to the game, which is what I loved about Cold War. Because Black Ops 3, I mean, there was no progression to the game. You hopped
Hmm.
in your very first game, you could just do the Easter egg. You could be done with that map. Cold War added progression. There was different things you could level up, and every single game you came out of, whether you died or exfilled, you could upgrade yourself and become better. And the next time you load it in, you would be more powerful than the last time. So that's going to add more progression into the game. If you can't just load in straight away, go to the middle of the map, complete the act, move on. You actually have to spend time, slow down a little bit, loot up, exfil with stuff to upgrade your perks and your weapon classes and shit like that. Actually build out a good loadout and go to these lower
Hmm.
and mid areas first to loot up, get your legendary, pack a bunch of weapons, and then you can go and take on these areas. So I like that idea too because that itself will add a bunch of replayability, and along with I'm assuming missions and upgrade paths and stuff, I think it's really going to be something special. And that's why I said before. Unfortunately, I feel like the story once again, like Cold War, is going to take a back seat
Hmm.
and they're really gonna focus more on like the missions and shit that like, we have in DMZ, and I think that's what they're really hoping is gonna keep the game alive.
Now, what are your opinions on automatically spawning in with perks? Like I said, they're gonna have like the perk canisters. You can take perk canisters in, like jug, whatever, and then when you go in,
Yeah.
you'll automatically have jug.
Yeah, speaking of the word canister, that's one thing I'm really excited to get to learn more about when they reveal more, is the canister. Like, what do they mean by canister? Because we've heard like with there you can get
Hmm.
ray gun like crates. Like, what is that? Like, what does that entail? Can you not just get a ray gun normally? Do you have to somehow do something to earn a crate to be able to load in with one? So, I don't know. I'm really intrigued by that and what that's going to mean. Maybe it means that the ray gun is going to be really good, and it's something that's really rare that maybe you can't just get from the box. Maybe it's something you actually have to work
Yeah,
towards,
they
which I
said it
think
would
would
be
be
like they
kind
would
of
it
a cool
would be
way.
a gold canister with a ray gun logo on it. So you would think it's
Yeah.
like some. It would be if you could at least spawn with it. It's gonna be like mega rare. It's gonna be rare as hell to get.
Yeah. Um, So, but yeah, going back to what you were saying with the perks, I don't know. I will say load. I don't know, because like you said before, though, in our information video about having the perk machines all over the map, it could get a little annoying.
Mhm.
I agree with that, but at the same time, I don't know because I feel like it would totally work. Because let's say you have like Widow's Wine or maybe Electric Cherry or something in the higher areas, and in the lower areas, you have your Quick Revive and Stand 'em Up or something like that. Maybe your mid areas, you've got Jug and Speed Colon or something like
Mhm.
that, to where maybe that's how they do it, and I think that would work. Um, because I mean they're already gonna have wall weapons all over the place. They're gonna have a pack a punch machine.
Yeah.
They're gonna have mystery box all over the place. So I mean they're already adding a bunch of different like POI stuff over the map. So why not have perk machines too? But obviously I mean it could get a little annoying like we mentioned with, let's say you spawn on the far side of the map and you're like really far away from a perk. I mean you might
Yeah.
never be able to get over there because you're
Jugs
gonna
all
keep
the way top
dying.
of the map,
Yeah.
and you gotta go like through
Um.
the fucking fucking layers over like
Mhm.
the super zombies and shit. And you're gonna die before you get the
So
jug.
yeah, so I understand what you're saying. It's a very valid point, and yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. My biggest concern is I don't think it's the worst idea banning spawn in. The only thing I'm worried about is it being too easy. Just like I was
Hmm.
saying with being able to load in with pack a punch weapons in your next game, I just don't want it to be too easy. Cold War, I feel like was pretty good because yes, you could load in with a loadout weapon. You could load in, with upgraded stuff and, buy that and, you could always get better at the game. But it was never like OP. It was never like crazy easy. Like even now on my account, I have everything maxed out. But I can still go into a game and die right off the bat or, whatever it may be. Like it's not just like a easy game that I can mindlessly play. Like I still have to pay attention. It's still kind of
Mm-hmm.
difficult. But if I can just load in with pack a punch ray gun, assuming let's just say they use the tier system for the perks, tier 5 on all the perks in the game, like it's gonna be so easy. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
like what's the point? I feel like it's really gonna ruin it very quickly. So I don't know. I hope they make it like either really hard to upgrade the perks or unlock slots. Like I talked about before, maybe they have it to where you have to unlock different slots to be able to hold more perks or whatever. Hopefully, like that is locked behind upgrades or missions or something, so it's not just like super accessible. Because, dude, if day one you can just like put on whatever perks you want and then maybe you just have to upgrade them, still, I feel like it's gonna be really OP, and that is going to actually like take away from the replayability because it's just gonna be so easy. So to answer your question briefly, yes, I think it's a cool idea. Um, but I just hope they kind of go the route of Cold War and kind of have that upgrade system, and it's not just like boom, you have
Mm-hmm.
Jug, boom, you have a Quick Revive. Because just being able to load in with those is, I feel like, gonna ruin the game. But yeah, guys, I mean that pretty much kind of sums up everything. Basically, I mean we're excited for the game, obviously, because it's gonna have zombies, but
Mm-hmm.
just with all the main developers that we've all known and loved being gone now, it really just begs the question, where is the franchise headed in the future? Is it going to be better? Is it going to be worse? Only time will tell. But at the end of the day, I'm still excited. I mean, Fob and I both love DMZ. We both love zombies. So introducing both of those to, this game, I think is great. I just really hope that it's literally not DMZ, and the AI have just been changed, like
Mm-hmm.
their look to zombies, and that's basically it. I'm really hoping they actually took time to make a all new experience that's going to be really fun and something that both DMZ lovers will like and also zombie lovers will like. I think combining those two communities is going to be really awesome and something that could be huge for Call of Duty in general. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, everything, of course, is speculation really about how the storyline is going to be, how the mechanics are going to work, how the community is going to be able to work together in these games. I'm hopeful, I would say. I'm not like super excited. I've learned to not get excited for these kinds of things, but I am hopeful for the future. Like I said earlier, I mean, I think the foundation has been laid for a really good future. So I just hope they build upon the foundation they've actually made and they don't just like not do anything with this. So I don't know. Again, what is time will tell. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm a little excited. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the classic Call of Duty fan in me is a little excited. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's gonna be cool, but like I said, I don't think it's gonna be great. Just to be honest.
Yeah,
There
at the end
is
of the
many
day, we'll just have
ways.
to wait and see, when the game comes out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This could be really good. Could be really bad. It's on paper, it sounds good. I mean, they're taking all the movement from the Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer and they're adding it with the Cold War zombies mechanics. So, I mean, it sounds like it's going to be really good. But we'll see. There's so many different things they could do wrong, so many different ways they could take this. So, I think what I'm most worried about out of everything is the exfil system. I think that's what's
Mm-hmm.
really got me bothered here. Because that could really make or break this game. If they have this huge contraband system where you can hold on to weapons and you can go in with money right off the bat and you can hold on to these insanely OP pack a punch weapons and you can just spawn in with all the best perks, max tier immediately. I feel like it's really gonna ruin the game, the vibe of the game. It's gonna just kind of ruin the replayability. I really hope there is progression and you're not just like OP day one. So that's what I would say most worried about overall. Everything else, the story. I mean, I've kind of got used to not really having a story at this point. So if there's not a story like Black Ops 3, I'll be okay. I mean, that's not the biggest deal in the world. So yeah, definitely for me, biggest worry the mechanics. And that exfil system, I think that's where it's really going to make or break this game, in my opinion. And like Fob has talked about a lot, the storm system. That's another way that's gonna make or break this game, depending on how they do that. Um, I literally could see them doing it either way, where they stop people from being able to go into the Dark Ether Storm. Maybe you still can't access the Dark Ether Storm. It's just transformed. That would be tough though. I don't know if that's going to create a lot of issues. I mean, I'm not a developer. I don't know like how much these, and especially with this being on old gen, I don't know how well that's going to go over. Like them changing the map live with 24 players in the game to a Dark Ether version. I don't know like how hardware heavy that is to do. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I don't know. Hopefully, you guys did enjoy our very first episode on the podcast, not the podcast. I think it was dope. I enjoyed it. So if you guys want to see more, like I said, drop a like, drop a sub, comment down
Smash that
below
button.
your guys' thoughts and opinions on what we talked about today. If you guys have any suggestions of stuff that we should talk about in the future. As far as a schedule for this, we haven't decided the day that we're going to upload this, but we will try to do one every single week. Whenever this video goes up is basically when we'll upload these every week, so you guys will know. By the time recording this, we don't know. But yeah, one every week, and we'll talk about multiplayer campaign, and then we'll do one talking about like Spider-Man 2, just to give you guys a little heads up on some stuff that's coming. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys do as well. I'm excited for this game. Hopefully you guys are as well. Okay, let me rephrase that because I said earlier I wasn't going to be excited. I am hopeful for this game. Um, uh, I can't even lie. I'm a little excited. Okay, I can't help it. I can't help it, guys. Okay, I love Call of Duty. I've bought every single one. I love zombies. I'm a little excited. Okay,
Yeah, bro, I'm
sue
excited
me.
to
I
play
don't
zombies,
care.
but last time I played zombies, hell, like, new zombies was Cold War, bro.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
excited to
been
get back some zombies.
four 4 years since we played zombies, I think. I don't know the
Yeah.
timeline. But yeah, I'm excited to play some zombies. And like I said, I love DMZ. I love zombies. Combine the two. I think it's gonna be really cool. I'm excited. The beta is leaked for multiplayer to come out around October the 6th, so we won't have to wait that long to play the multiplayer, which is really dope. Of course, we'll be streaming that on all on our main channels. But yeah, any closing arguments for you, Fob?
That's all for me. I agree with you on like the mechanics and everything. For me, I hope that obviously the story, because I'm kind of like a story person.
Yeah.
I wasn't like focused on like hardcore on Black Ops 3, but like I love the story. I was kind of like a story person. So obviously the story in here obviously is gonna be like hard depth, like say like it wasn't like Cold War or whatever, because you know how it is. But I hope at least for what it is, the story is like somewhat good and actually fits perfectly into everything.
Yeah, like we mentioned, God, I don't know, 45 minutes ago, they have definitely talked a lot about the story and have tried to push that on people that there will be story, there will be cinematic,
Mhm.
um, not trailers, but like scenes. Sorry, I got the hiccups. So, I definitely think they're trying to reassure people that hey, there is going to be a story in this game. So yeah, we'll have to see if it's better than Cold War or the same as Cold War. I mean, Cold War had some great cutscenes, so and maybe they're just a little bit more involved. But like
Mhm.
we've said, I mean, if there's not a set of characters that we can follow or some sort of story that we can really follow and connect with, at the end of the day, I mean, it really doesn't matter. They've got to do something that people can connect with. Like there was nothing in Cold War for people to connect to. The only thing that people wanted to know in Cold War is what was going on with
Semi
Richtofen.
maxes
I mean,
and that semi
when
maxes.
yeah, like that was the only thing people were interested in was those characters because they're interesting. So yeah, I don't know that they've got to do something with that to actually make people interested in the story. So I don't know. I mean, so they've been pushing that a lot. So maybe they've finally done something that's better than what we got in Cold War.
All right, everyone, and this is where we are going to end the first episode of the podcast, the King Fob Talks podcast. So if you guys did enjoy, and like I said, do want to see more, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Yeah, let us know down in the comment section below your guys' thoughts on Modern Warfare 3 Zombies and kind of like what you guys want to see in the game and everything. And we'll start some conversations down in there and kind of bounce some theories off each other. Like I said, drop a like, subscribe, and until next time, we'll see you all later. Peace out.